Okay, so now we are going to install the extension here. Just go to the extension area in Visual Studio Code and type the extension that you want. Now, main extension here is XML extension. This will save you a lot of time. So just click it. You can click install here, or you can, if you want, you can directly install from the button, because I already installed this XML extension here. That's why the install button is not there. So for example, if you want to install any other extension here, you can just click install, and you have to wait until it's download from the internet and install it for you automatically. Right. So I think I don't need to explain much about it. I'm going to the file again. Now let's begin working for the questions here. Now represent the following data in XML format and save it as XML file, as an XML file. Display the output in your browser as follows. So they want us to make this chart into XML file. So I'm not going to take this area. I'm going to just take the area from this one, only this area, and display the output in your browser as follows. So you are requested to apply CSS codes to get a given output. Actually, in last time, I told them that there is another way also to take the XML code and represent it as a table with a different technique, but that will be very difficult to run. You have to host the file. So just maybe if any of you attend the last class, just forget that. So now we are going to use the CSS codes to apply the styles to the XML. Save the CSS file. Okay, save the CSS file. That's all. So they did not tell a specific name for that. So anyhow, we will call it question 1A. So we are going to save this XML file question 1A, and then we are going to create the CSL question 1A.css. The CSS file, you know that, right? The extension of the CSS file should be .css, and the XML file should be .xml. So we are going to use the same file name for this. Okay, so I'm going to create now. So just move your mouse cursor to the folder, and you have option here to create a file or create a folder. So I'm going to create a file. So my file name, for example, q01.xml. Okay. At the same time, we need also a CSS file. So if you want to create it now, or create it later. So now let's go and work for XML. I'm going to make this smaller because we don't have a space to see. Right. So initially, you have to write XML code, but in the first, we have, for example, when you create, you remember that, just recall the things that you did. When you make HTML file, for example, a test.html, like bringing the header file, all the very required information. We just press the exclamation mark and just press enter, like all the what do you call that, the DOM of HTML are created automatically for you. So you don't need to memorize the things, right? Like document type and HTML language version, metadata, title, head, body, all. So what you have to do is just simply do your code in the body area. So similarly here in the XML, we also have a support. So I'm going to delete this file. Okay. Simply I'm going to do this. Put the question mark there. So it's saying insert XML declaration. So when I insert the XML declaration, the first very important line is already inserted for you. Now you have to start your XML thing.
I was using the phone without.
Okay.
Is it in class?
Okay, you watch the TV. Go.
Mama, use your phone and
Is it yes in the class? Huh?
Go on the TV. It's okay. Nisha, our TV back the good. Come here, Yusuf, come. Oh, close. Yeah, excuse. Okay, so this is the initial thing that we have to include it for the XML file. That's very important. Now we can start creating your XML file. Right. To create an XML file, you remember that always we have to wrap it with one tag that you like. For example, all of this one now, it's a record, like a table row, identical things, right? So now the XML, they initially should have a tag, something like a mother tag. So we have to create one tag. This is called course data. So I'm going to say course data. This will be our initial tag. So we are going to wrap all the data inside this table, inside the course data, the tag. So let's call it mother tag, for example. I don't, they don't call it like a mother tag, but I'm just explaining you to understand easily. So this will be a beginning initial tag in XML. Then you are going to write everything, all the content and the column and everything in this table inside the course data. So now, in order to save this column, it's repeated only one time, so we know that it's only a header, right? So I'm going to call this first row. Actually, here it looks like first row, but when I represent this data to a table, this will be my table header, right? So one header and multiple rows, multiple records. So I'm going to, so we have to declare this data in XML, not similar to this. This is a record. All the records will have a one unique tag, and the column headers will have a different unique tag. I'll show it to you actually by typing the code so you can understand easily. So I'm going to call this one the first row, this one, the course duration, start, total fee, and everything. Here I call it a table header or a course header, or just a header. Oh, no problem, we'll put course header, course or data header, data header. So now I'm going to wrap all this header details inside the data header. So now just we will make the architecture first, then we will do the rest. So now I'm going to also put this data inside the XML. So I'm going to create something called data. We call it data. It's okay. We will see later on if this word is a keyword in CSS, we will change it later. So we are going to just, do you understand, right? Data header, the first row will be the data header, the second row, the second and all other rows will be like data. So I'm going to call it data. Now inside the data header, I'm going to create a course duration, every single object, every single tags to display this data. So I'm going to create inside, I call it what do you call that? Okay, header one. Header one is courses. I'm going to format this document actually. So whenever you type something, you better to format it. Otherwise, it's mess. It's very difficult to understand where is the alignment, which one is under which. So you don't know that. So better to format it. Then it's much easier to go end of this one and press enter. The cursor automatically comes under that. So you will not miss your thing. So I'm going to put another one called header two. And similarly, I'm going to put header 3 and header 4, header 5 and header 6. So we have to, don't forget to change the name, because in case the future, if you want to apply a different style for this one, it will be very difficult for you. So I'm going to choose header 3, and it's also showing you that changes in the property. So when you click that, the closing tag will change automatically. It's like renaming the pair, the opening tag and the closing. So when you click that, the closing tag also changing. In case if we change it here and then if we don't click that, what will happen? The close opening tag is header 4, but the closing tag is still header 2. So always be careful with that, because later on everything is messed up, nothing will load it to the, since we are beginners. Okay, so I'm going to change it now and this way. Or if you know how to change it manually, and if you don't confuse yourself, do it, no problem with that. I'm just telling you the tricks that easily you can do it simply. So in case if you miss it, for example, let's say I call it like header 9 and then you forget it, just go back here and change it to header 9. So first make sure that the structure is perfectly all right without any single errors. For example, I put it here 99. It gives you error immediately here because of this XML, these things that we install. It will identify automatically that there's no proper closing tag for the open tag. So I'm going to erase it and then put that. So my structure is perfectly ready. Now I'm going to copy the text from here, duration, and then start date. Total fees, discounts, By the way, somebody asked me actually how to do this one, the discounts. They send me a message that how to do it in a similar way. Actually, this is what they have to do. So if you copy it, actually, if the discount, okay, let's type it. Okay, so we will see how it's differ. COUNTS discount, right? Usually, if you type by hand, this is what we think. Okay, I'm going to type the discount in this way, right? Okay, I'm going to copy this as well. The D is missing when I copy it, so I'm going to paste it later. Diploma. You see, actually, it's just a trick, small trick that they play with us. Okay, so I'm going to I save it now. I save my file. You know that, right? When it's not saved, you can see a white color dot on the side of the right side of the file name. So once I save it, make sure that you have to save. Otherwise, when you browse it, you will not see anything. Now I save the header, and I'm going to save one row as well, one data as well. Then I'm going to stop it. I'm not going to populate the rest of the data. Then I'm going to write my style and see on the screen that how it's going to come. Then later on I will come back to the XML and I'll populate the data. Okay. So now I'm going to I just finished one header file, header data, and I'm going to populate one data, just one row to finish the XML file and start working on the CSS file. Later on, we will just populate the rest of the data. It will come automatically. Right, now I'm going to create this data. In this case, I'm thinking that sometime here, they might ask you a different type of formats, right align, left align, and there can be so many things. So to avoid that, better to have a different name for every single data sets. So I'm going to call it course name. Okay, I call it course name, and then the other one is a duration. The other one is commence date or
Change it to what?
commence date. Commence dates. And then fees, total fees, and then discount. Just call it total fee, okay? Because it's not in a plural, because this is for a single record. So always, if you name it as a total fee, it's not wrong, but it's much better to stick with the standard practice. Since it's a one data, don't call it total fees, okay? Discount, and then let's call it course type, for example, higher diploma or higher diploma. So I'm going to call it a course type. So now I'm going to copy the details. Data science. First name is a data science. Okay. And then 12 months. I'm going to type it because 12 months 1/9/2021 rupees dot 200. Okay, and the discount is empty, so I just keep it as empty if it's empty, and cost details diploma. Okay, so one set is ready now. So let's go and view our XML file. So how to open this XML file? Just go right click and reveal in File Explorer. You don't need to go to your table, the folder, and then double click the file. Just very simple. Right click on that, reveal in File Explorer. So it automatically opens the locations. Then I just double click this file. It's loaded here on the side. So I'm going to close it down. So the file is clearly loaded, fine. So now what they said, the last time also they said make sure that the XML file is working fine, or just display the tree view of the XML by using any website or any tree view of XML. So in order to display that, this is a normal view. Anyhow, it's a tree view. You can just close it. You can close that, and you can close everything. So course data has one data header, and one data. If you want for the testing purposes, you just duplicate this column for the meantime now. Okay, so I'm going to put, so this is how our hierarchy will come. This is how we are going to put that. One header and multiple data will come. If we want one more data, I'm going to put one more data and copy and paste it. Okay, so this is for testing purposes. Okay, this is the only one record which is right. The other two, it should not duplicate it, but I'm just making it because I don't want to waste the time, so I'm going to save it. Now in case if they ask you to display a tree view of the XML by using any beautifying website, just go and search here XML tree viewer. Okay, so there are a lot of XML tree viewers. It's very okay. Let's go. Okay, best online tree viewer. Yeah, this is one. This is one. Code Beautify. So what you have to do here, you have to put the XML input here, and it will show you on the right side how it looks like in a tree view. So I'm going to copy the entire content of the XML file and copying it and pasting it here very simply, and click tree view, this button. So it shows you very clearly that if you want, I can expand the view. Yeah, yes. Okay. So this is the expanded view of the tree view. So tree view just showing like a displaying the data in a tree. Just it, nothing else. So see, we have one data header and one data and one data. So if you collapse this, you will find it like this. The course data. Actually, the name is course data. It's not appropriate, but it did not come. So the course data has a data header and three data only. So if you want to display tree view of that, better to display it in this way. And if they ask you to put a print screen, take a print screen and put it inside your folder. Okay, you don't ask me how to take the print screen. Just take a print screen by any tool like just normal print screen. Take it if you want to display that. Make sure that at least, let's say if you have a multiple data, you cannot cover all of them in a single screen. In that case, what do you do? Better to expand this one data header, so they want to know that this is your header. And the second thing, then expand one data block. The remaining should be collapsed, so they can see all of them easily. So this is one thing they ask us actually. So if, in your case, if they ask you, you do the same thing. Okay, great. So now we will do. Okay, let's go back to the question. This is the question, right? This is not. This is the question. Okay, right. So the first thing now they ask us, represent the following data in XML format and save it in XML file. Display the output in your browser as follows. You are requested to apply CSS and get. Okay, fine. So now we make the XML already, and then now we are going to create a CSS. So when you look at the XML, looks like. This is the view look of the XML that we created already. Sorry, I'm going to refresh that. So there are three data actually. Last time it was not displayed here. What is that, brother? Sign in XML, example AINML. I have no idea actually how to add and sign in XML. No, I have no idea actually. We will see. If you have a time, we will just work with you. Actually, if there are something that I can learn as well, I'm with you. Okay, right. So we are going to create now the CSS file. So put the same name q01.css. Okay. Now, how to write the CSS for the XML? Now I'm going to collapse this one and I'm going to open a side-by-side view here and click this button to bring the side-by-side view. So you can see the XML on the left side and the data on the right side. Right. So now, very simple, that we are going to format it as a table. So I'm going to make the screen as smaller. Okay, something like this now. Right. So we know that, right? Just recall your CSS things that you learn. We are going to create this as a table header, and this will be, let's say, for example, every single object of this one will be a cell in the table. So this will be a cell and this will be a cell. Every single object will be a cell, and this will be a row in a table. This is what exactly the questions paper says, right? Right? This is our question paper. So this is actually one record is one row. So in the table, it's represented as a row, and every single it's represented a table cell, and the complete record is a table row. So this is a table header. Anyhow, this is also a table row actually. If you take the header, that is also a table row, and this all of them are table rows. But when you take a single piece of this one, this is table cell. All of them are table cell. Okay, now let's implement CSS file. You know that when you created a CSS file, you have to link that CSS file on the XML file. Otherwise, the XML doesn't know what type of style that you are going to implement. So I'm going to write a line that how I'm going to link this CSS, which is q01.css file, to the q01 XML file. So I'm going to put again the question mark here, and option is here, insert CSS style sheet association. So you are associating this CSS file to this XML, saying that my styles are here, just take it and apply it. So here, what you have to change actually, the file name has to be this file name. Don't think this file name, actually this file name. You can name the CSS like abcd.css. So here the name will be abcd.css. So in our case now we name it as a q01. So I'm going to call it q01.css. I'm saving this file. Don't forget to save that. Now come back to the XML file here and refresh it. Now the CSS actually the CSS is actually, even though if you write a wrong CSS file, for example, I'm going to change the file to something like this and put it to save it and then refresh it. It's still the styles are applying. In XML, if you what do you call that? If you associate any file, automatically the file will not longer show you in the XML tree format. It will be like a normal data. Now this is the data that we are going to format it and display it as a table. Right. So I'm making sure that I write the proper file name. And then now this is just represent the structure, compare the structure with the table. So I'm saying that the course data is a table, data header is a header row, and data is a data row in the table. So I'm going to say that course data here, to write the style, just put the XML tag name data and say that display table. I'm saying that my course data is a table displayed like a table. So I'm coming back to this one. I'm going to refresh it. Nothing has changed. Okay. Now the data header is a header row, and the data is also a table row. So in this case, I'm going to say data header. Under this, I'm going to data header. I'm saying that display as table row. Save it. Come back to it and refresh it. Now the data broken into the see simple changes, very simply you can see the changes. The header row is broken into one line, and next come to the next line. The rest is following like a continuous text. Why? Because I did not tell the CSS that data is also should be treated as a table row. So here I'm going to copy this name, and I'm going to write it also one more thing here. For it, display is equal to table row. So now all of them are broken into individual line, right? The header is broken into one line, data. In this case, you see, we are writing actually, yeah, the name data, it's not right, but it's okay. It's okay, fine. Because you see the color here, data is something else in the CSS. So actually, I want to say, let's call it as data row. Okay, data row. Okay, data, because the data name is not really good for us to use. Make sure that the name should be white color. It's not amber or yellow color, because right. So I'm refreshing now. It's okay. In this case, you see we are applying style for a two XML tag, exactly the same style, right? So in this case, I don't want to open a two tags name. Just simply cut this and put a comma here and paste it. So what I'm telling them, either data row, data header or data row. We call it data header row, so it'll be understandable. So I'm telling them either it's a data header row or data row. Please display it like a table row. I'm going to come and refresh it. Perfectly all right. It changed. Now we have to come to this area. We have to come to the next style. And here I cannot distinguish where is the cell starting and where is it ending, right? So I'm going to say that this is what every single is a table cell. So I want to tell them that these are table cells. So, for example, header 1, comma, so header 2, header 3, header 4, header 5, and header 6. I have to change it back to 6. So header 6. So I'm going to change the names here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This all of them will be display like a table cell. We'll save it here and come back and refresh it. So it's a table cell, but you cannot see the difference. So I'm going to put a border here, okay, just to see that border. Solid 1 pixel, solid 1 pixel and black, okay, and refresh it now. Now you can see it actually like a course duration, start date, total fee. What happened here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 diploma or higher diploma. There's 6, header 6, table header. Okay, so fine. And also now I have to tell the same thing for the course name, durations, commence date, total fee, discount, and course type. That's also I have to tell them that it will be like a table set. So I'm going to put the same thing actually here and then put the style here. Why I'm separating this time? I'm separating it because I might do a different styling for the header and different styling for the data cells. So I'm just separating them. And this time now I'm going to copy the course name, comma, duration, comma, commence date, comma, total fee, comma, discount, comma, cost time, and refresh it now. Now it's expanded here. Whatever 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 6. Why the sixth one is not included here? Right? Something wrong with the sixth one, is it? Okay. Maybe I put some spaces here. I do not know. Once I just delete it and save it and refresh it. Now we come to the data is now representing in a way that we can see it like a table, right? So it's perfectly all right for the meantime. So now let's make sure that our papers is exactly the same. What's this? Right. So this is the data and this is how it looks like now. Now just we will work little by little. Now the header is a green color, right? Background. So I'm not going to put the exact color because I don't like to search for the exact color. So I'm going to say that background color is equal to green, for example. Save it here, come back and refresh it. It's green. Any color though. So you just match your color, but in your exam papers, if they give you green, it's not necessary to be exact green. Or if you want, you can change it actually. Let's say let's close to somewhere else here. Maybe this one, this color. I don't know. Okay, maybe. Right. See, that's why I separate them, the header in a different area, and the data as a different area because I don't want to put the colors. In case if you want, if you know advanced CSS, we can do that as well. But anyhow, since it's a starting thing, that we will be going slowly. So now I'm going to put the background color here to blue. I saw some different blue actually. Blue. Now click this color and then choose maybe somewhere else here. Yeah, good. Okay, I'm save it now. Refreshing it is blue. So I need actually a small window. See this in the exam paper as well, so it's much easier to. Okay, I'm going to put it here. Okay, is it clear, right? The screen is okay for you? I don't know whether you can see all of them. Okay, right, fine. So now the trick that we are going to do now, the fonts are small actually. So I'm going to increase the font size for all the cells. Now I'll tell you one thing. In order to avoid duplication codes, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to copy all of this and put it here. Right. Then refresh it. Still the same view. Do you know what I'm doing now here? Actually, I don't need to tell this. I don't need to do this all. And still the same view. I'm applying the, the table row cells and the table data cells to same style. The style only this area will be included for all this area, header 1 to header 6, and all the cells. Display will be table cells, border is this black border, and then background color is equal to this color. Now, only for the data, I'm overwriting the color to blue. So this also is possible. Now I'm going to say that I'm going to increase the font size. So I don't need to increase it here. If I increase it here, that will be quite young. So I'm going to say font size is equal to, I remember that last time I used it like 22 pixels for the exam. I'm going to use it 22 pixel. Okay, great. So for the meantime, it's perfectly all right. Now, what else we have to do? Let's say the font is not anymore this font. You see the D, and this D is different. So they are asking you to change the font family. The font family will be something like maybe Korea. I'm going to save it now. Let's see that. No, it's not Korea. I don't. Maybe say UI. Okay, it's okay, I think. So if you feel that it's bolded, you can do a bolding as well. But I don't see that now we are formatting, right? So change the size of this. Okay. If you feel that it's bolded, you can do a bolding. So call it font weight. Font weight, you can say, see the font weight has a lot of values. 100, 200, 300, 500 until bold and bold. So I'm going to use something like 500 thickness. A little thick, but it seems to be very thick, right? Okay. No, I don't want to use 500. I'm going to use 400 now. It's very light. Okay. If you feel that there is a bold, you can apply. It's up to you. My according to my eye, it seems to be a little darker, but I don't know whether it's right or wrong. Or maybe it's a different font. I do not know. Actually, it's not exactly the font that we apply, but I'm telling you the technique that you have to change your font. Try to change it. This is the what they expect you that they want to make sure that you know how to change the font to the table cells. That's the thing. So maybe if you use a different font, but better to choose which is closer to that. Don't just choose something totally different. Choose something closer to that. Now you see there are in our table the border in the data starts immediately. Stick to that. So I'm going to see here the difference up before C. There are small gap in with that. So I'm going to say that it's a padding. I'm going to put the padding, but not only the padding on that side. You see, okay, in this cell you cannot see a padding here in the right side. Stick on exactly on the line. I mean, there's no gap at all. But starting there is a padding. So I'm going to say padding left. So I'm going to just apply padding left only. Let's say a 10 pixel, for example. I'm going to save it now and refresh it. Okay, good. So there are every cell starting a 10 pixel after the cells begin. Okay. Uh, yes. Now the trick here, they ask us to do something. You see, discount. Somebody asked me actually a discount. Okay, okay. Now we will put a 5% and 10% also for the second and the third row, so we can see that how is it's going to come. The view looks like. So here, instead of putting something empty, I'm going to put 5%, and here I'm going to put 10%. Saving now. I'm going to refresh it. So 5% and 10% are here. You see, 5% and 10% actually is right aligned, only this data, but the header is left aligned. So you have to make sure that the header is left aligned. So currently our header is left aligned. I think 10 pixel is too much already. I'm going to change to something like 5 pixel. Okay, maybe in between 5 or 7 or something like this. Okay. Now you see that the discount part is the right aligned. So I'm going to do the right aligned. And this time we will have a trouble. You see, when you do a right align, that will apply to all of this, the data cells and also the header type. So this will be a big trouble for us now. So in that case, you have to apply the right align on this area, not there, on this area, which is only for the course name duration. But see, I did a mistake actually. You don't need to right align everything. Only right align is a discount only. So in that case, create one called discount. The XML tag name is discount, and say text alignment to right. I'm going to save it down. Refresh it. So now it stick to the right. And in this column, you see, there's another trick. On this column, there is a right padding. There is a padding on the right side. So I have to use padding right by 5 pixel. Come and refresh it. Okay, so it's perfectly all right. The diploma. Okay, shall I put higher diploma as well? We'll for one data we use higher diploma as well, not only diploma. Higher diploma, and the other one is also higher. I'm going to refresh that. So one diploma and one high diploma. Percentage is perfectly all right. Rupees is okay. And here date only the starting, that's a padding. Here I cannot understand. Here see, you see that the duration has a padding on the right side and the left side. You have to, your eye should be very sharp. So just go to the CSS, and my one is not. And then what do you call the duration? Duration, I'm going to say adding left is equal to 5 pixel, and then adding right. Where's the right? Oh really, I cannot see. Adding right is equal to 5 pixel. So I save it now and then refreshing it. So there is a padding on the date, right? In the right and left, perfectly all right. This is sorry, the duration and the duration. Everything, see the start date, only the padding in the left side, in the right side no more. So the duration, or which is duration, right? Yeah, duration. I applied already. And data science, and okay. All right. So for the meantime, this is all right. Now what the trick is now, the only by the way, one more thing. You see that the lines here, the vertical lines are thick and the horizontal lines are light. So if anyone has idea, just let me know how to do that. So let's go to this now. The discount column, how to display it, something like this. But when you copy it from the PDF, you got the answers already. But here, See, discount is only one word. If you apply word wrap, it will not wrap anymore because it's just a one word. You cannot wrap it anymore. So the thing is duration, discount, right? So it's like a this and then CO and then U and then S. Save it like this and refresh it. Okay. And now implement the word wrap for this. Okay. Now you divide this data into 4 columns. Sorry, 4 rows. I mean, it's like a BR. You apply BR into that. But now you say a word wrap for this one. To the discount. Where is this discount? So it's which is header 5, right? So I'm going to say here header 5 will have this function. What do you call that? Word wrap is equal to breakpoint. Oh, oh. Yeah, and this one, but we have to do here, it's like the width. You have to say the width of the every cells to fit content. That way also can be done simply. It's not applying here. Okay, something is happening here. The heights, I cannot see the height, right? Actually, let me try also. Word wrap is equal to whiteboard. It's crazy.
But I think feed content is wrong.
Let me reduce the size of the table width. It's equal to, for example, 300 pixel. So what's happening here? Yeah, if I reduce the table size, it's doing that. And also, I'm going to say that to uh, alignment or margin to auto. So it's going to be a centered one. Then I'm going to apply also a margin top. Let's say 10 pixel to bring the table 10 pixel uh, away from the top area. I think explicitly we have to tell that this column is to use. Actually, the content width is here, is right. Discount. Yeah, okay. See, the trick is another thing. They play with that so many things, by the way. This font size is not the same font size here. Really. You notice that? Anyone notice it? Or if you don't talk, I don't know. So if
Yeah.
we reduce that, it will be perfectly, it will match. So I'm going to change the discount, the font size to, for example, 18 pixel. Save it and come and refresh that. See, now it's coming perfectly all right. The font is smaller than the usual. Maybe you can put 20. No, 20 is more. We cannot use the 20 here in this case. 19. Yeah, 19 is okay. So similarly, you can, and also maybe this is centered. This vertical alignment of the header row is centered already here. So where is the header row now? Yeah, all of them is centered actually. Even this one, other one, everything is centered here. So So here, vertical alignment to what? Vertical align is equal to a middle. But is it a middle? It's not middle. Do you think that's a middle? Guys, help me also. It's not middle actually.
Can't we apply pixels amount?
It's not bottom. It's not text. Text. Let me try the baseline. I don't know. What is this? Actually, I have no idea what is baseline. You know. No. Okay, so I'm going to use now the middle for the meantime. You just explore that how it will be looks like. Actually, it's not middle. If it is middle, it should come down. Or maybe they play with us one more trick. Like for example, in every this line is broken into one enter. In that case, it will be all right. Okay, it's not.
I think that baseline did work.
It's messing up the things. Let me put process. See, I don't know. I don't know whether to play this trick. There's something called alter 255. Alter 255. This is also a trick. I also use this method actually in my exam. So in this case, you see that the courses are just exactly, it looks like this. In the bottom area is higher than top areas. So I'm inserting here a transparent line, which is you have to press the Alt and 255, and then it's like a space, but it's transparent, but it's not equivalent to space. I don't know. I did it also in my last exam, but I don't know whether it's right or wrong. You tried. Yeah, I'm not a front end developer, by the way. So if you do something like this, definitely you can match with the output. Start date is should be one line. So in this case, you can specify a special width for this column if you want. For example, where is the start date? The column is header 3. Let's say I'm going to do the same trick actually. So if you want that the start date to be one whole line, whole what do you call that? The two words without the word wraps. You can say header 3 as a special width. I'm going to put the header 3 separately. It will consume a lot of time. I don't understand why they did it like this. Width, I'm going to say 100 pixel, maybe a 50 pixel, or increase it to 70, 80 pixel. Hundred pixel, maybe the fit content. Let me use important. Maybe because of this, the fit content. The table width is not enough. It will be taking a lot of time for this to. What's wrong with this? I'm changing almost everything, but still, I'm changing the table width to 500 pixel, but still, it's not. 800 pixel. Hmm. I don't know. So you can explicitly tell that if you want a specific size, 100 pixel start date, let's say 150. So you can change your things here according to the needs. You just change it and do the designing here. So this is what they did here. They type it on that way, discount. I feel like this. Otherwise, if you apply word wrap here, it's only one word. There's no place to wrap anymore. But if you want to separate it like a different word, that's the thing that we did here. Discounts will be like this. So if you want the other things also the same, see here, data science, so E never come out while we have this much of space on the side. So definitely data science, there's a space on the E. And then cloud computing, the same thing. I don't know why they make it like this. Maybe for example, if you put like this data science with the single space here, and this case, okay, there is a space here, but if there is no spaces, I don't know. Anyhow, to enable the word wrap, this is the technique. It should be, there should be space between two words. If you have a space between two words, then you can wrap it. So you can do the design now, the remaining designing. We will spend a lot of time for designing it. Just put your eye very sharply here and do it. I think we don't need to do the entire things, right? Yes, Atif, something there? Tell me, brother. Yeah. Alt 255 without space. I mean, Alt and at the same time plus 255. It will be printing that word, because last time in our questions they gave us one empty line in the end of this table. They asked us to put one empty line. So when I try with the empty space or without the empty like this, for example here, I'm going to create one data row which will be empty, or we will make this as empty. So I make it
Excuse me,
as
brother.
empty and then I just refresh it. What happened here? I cannot see the line anymore. So I had no idea how to display it. So what I did, I just played this trick. I just put the alter 255 and then inserted one empty line there. And when I refresh it, you have empty line on the end of the table. I don't know. I'm just doing it according to my knowledge what I have. But if you had a different idea, you can go. Anyhow, it's a CSS styling things. Maybe my idea will not come to you, and your idea will not come to me. Maybe my idea is better than your idea. Content hidden. What is that?
Excuse me,
What is that?
brother.
What is that meaning? Okay, tell me if you have some ideas. Actually, I will learn also. Uh, so I just did it, and then I found it. It's okay. It worked for me, and it's up to them. I don't know. What is the meaning of content hidden? Tidas, Kavisha? Listen, see, no one is teaching no one here. We are just learning. What I know, I'm just telling you. And if you have a good idea, please let me know as well. Okay, as long as you're not speaking it, I cannot do continue anymore. Okay, fine. So the rest is just do the things. But I'm feeling that you are very poor guys, because I don't know why they did it like this. It's too much already. Right? It's too much to break something like this. And also it depends on the table width. If you have a more width, definitely it will expand and it will give a room for each and every cell. In the column, you cannot expect it to be look like this. So at least if you cover the things that they are saying. Okay. Now last time I told you, right? See the horizontal lines are very thin, and then vertical lines are thick. So in this case, what I did, I simply I did it. What I did actually in every cell I say that border and bottom is equal to none. I just remove the border bottom. So the top bottoms are there and I made it like this. So it's thin already. So everywhere, every cell has a complete border and I just hide the bottom border. The top border will be there. So this cell's top border of this, for example, this cell's top border, this cell's bottom border, right? So it's covering like a complete alignment, and then the horizontal line is thin and then vertical line is thick. This is what they did also here. So I just implemented. Anyhow, so the styling part is not the main thing. The thing is now we have to work for a. Okay, so I'm going to close now. Under the diploma, the first diploma, a cell word is small and the other are big. What to do for that? Okay, really. In this case, you have to use the there's in the table cell there is something called like n. Let me search. Let me search for it. Okay, I'm not. Table first cell CSS. Yeah, something like this. First child, and then tr first child and tr first child. So maybe let's try this. I'm going to try this as well. Okay, I'm going to change the style of this one to a different color. So I'm going to do it now here. And then who is the first child? First child of what? First child of the last column, which is a course type. I'm going to say course type, the first child. I'm going to change the color to red. We will see whether it's working. So it's easy to understand. So we can, where is our paper? Did I close it? No. Is it the one right? This is the one right?
These ones are useless.
Course type. That is right. Yeah, course type. Did not work. You have a better eye than mine actually. The diploma is small, but I have no idea how to apply this. You're right. You're right. In that case, this looks bigger than that. The fonts are increasing from here. No idea. Yeah, just search for it. Actually, I feel that this something like this. If we say first child, but it's not a first child. It's a last child or what? Table row TD. Can I? Is that something called last child? Okay. I hope it is working out beautiful actually. We are changing it here, but course type is a last type. All the last types are changing now. I don't need the last child. Okay, I don't know. You just search because this is finding the last child of the course type. But I want also the first row. What do we call it? Any idea? Yeah, we will see the XML schema as well. Actually, it's just like a magic, the XML schema that we are going to make now. Okay, anyhow, Tanuja Lakmal, actually, I found the way, not the Tanuja Lakmal, I don't know who asked me this question. Somebody asked me, right? The this is very small. You see, now here just we changed a last child, but it's working for a course type, all the course type. Maybe can I say this one data row data row, first child, and no. Let me see the assist. What they did here. TR first child and the first child. Yes. Then yeah, no idea what's going on here, right? Data row. I say that the data row is last child and the course type last child. Last time, how did we put the last child or the first child? But if I use it in the other way around, it's working fine, right? Last child. It's okay. Anyhow, just this is a technique actually to identify which one is that. But I'm not very much knowledgeable in this area. I just search for it, styling things, and you can definitely find the result. Okay. Now I'm going to close it because no need to spend a lot of time for this. Let's go to the exam paper again. And then XML file. So we completed the XML file and also we completed the CSS file. And here request is applied. Now the second question is B. Represent the following data in the JSON format and save it as a JSON file. JSON actually is very simple. So we created a JSON file called q01.json. So the extension of the JSON is .json. I put it here. JSON is very simple. You just convert your file from here. Actually, there are a lot of ways to do that. But if you want a quicker way to do the JSON file, you can convert this into XML to JSON. There is a way that, it's a cheeky way, like XML to JSON. I don't know. I don't know if you do that. If we get caught or something, I do not know. Just you take care of yourself. So XML to JSON, I clicked it and the JSONs are here. So wherever you press enter, there will be new line. See, discount is like a new line. So it will be like this, the JSON. So I'm going to, for example, I'm going to copy this and it will save you time, but I don't know legally whether it's allowed or not. So your JSON is ready. But I will explain you very simply. It's actually easy thing, JSON. If you want, you can type it manually as well. It's not a big deal. So how we are going to represent this? How we are going to display that in the JSON way? I'm going to save it now. Very simple. As I told you, this is a table, right? The complete table. Course data is a table. Always the JSON starts with open curly bracket and close curly bracket. Always, even if you have one single object, for example, this is a JSON. This is a valid JSON, for example. Just forget. Okay, I'm going to make a new file to show you that how JSON, for example, just the JSON. This is a valid JSON. Just we will remove this because unnecessarily is occupying place. So this is a valid JSON. How to make sure that it's a valid JSON? Just copy this one, copy it, and go to the JSON validator. There's something called JSON validator. JSON, an online JSON validator. I'm going to paste this one and then validate JSON. Now it's giving you the result on the bottom, valid JSON, and that's it. But I cannot see the JSON view here. Actually, I'm very good with Google Chrome. I don't like to use these things. So let me bring the Google Chrome back to this screen here. So I'm going to choose JSON formatter. Okay, the validator actually. JSON formatter and validator. I'm opening now here. The same thing. So I'm going to paste the JSON code that I wrote here and then process it it will give you a valid JSON, and it's identifying it as a valid JSON. This is how it is. So it's very simple. This is the key value, and this is the data, key and value. So always the key will be wrapped with the double quote in the front and the end. So it's representing as a string key, actually string key. The values are here. In the JSON, you have to remember something. If you want to enter the data in text format, it has to be between two double quotes. If you want to enter something like, for example, if you want to say age, then it should be a plain number. So the JSON will identify that this is integer. And if you want to put a float, let's say your salary, total fee, without rupees, if you don't want rupees, so better to put it something like this. This is how you have to, it has to be. Without this, you don't need that. So it's a float or decimal or whatever it is. And if you say that, let's say I'm going to add something called merit, is merit person. We will go back to this here. It's nice color. Let's say if someone you're asking marital status, we call it marital status. And if you want to say true or false, that will be simply true or false. Okay. Now, if you ask me my salary with a colon, and then I'm going to say my salary is only at 23,526.30 rupees. So this is here. It's plain float value. And if you ask me my age, it will be 15 because it's an integer value. Do not cover the integer value with the double quoted starting and ending and the salary. Don't do that. If you do that, whenever you convert your JSON to a JavaScript object, or if you take it to C# or any other languages, this data will be treated as a string. So you cannot use it for calculation purposes. So you have to maintain the nature. In XML, it's nothing. In XML, there's no way to say that you can actually. By the schema, we will learn it later. When the schema comes, you can explicitly tell that this is a string, this is a datetime object, this is a float, integer, whatever it is. So in JSON, you have to tell that. And also the date, okay, always wrapped with this one. No problem with that. Date will be exactly like this, and it will identify that because in the JSON they will tell something called ISO format, and there are some ways to represent the date. So no problem with that. So this is a single here. Only one single records are there. Now, if we want to send a multiple value to the JSON, this is a single array, right? Single object, right? Now I'm going to put a comma, and let's say I have two objects. I'm pasting it here. So now we have two objects. Now if you want a third one, just go and put a comma and third object. But this is not a complete JSON. Now you bring three data and put it side by side, but it has to be an array, because the array, normally if you say start with the curly bracket and this one, it's a single record, single data. Now if you put a multiple data, now this has to be an array. So array, you have to start, array always comes like this. So if you type anything in between these two brackets, the square brackets, that's called array. So I'm going to open an array and come down all the way and close my array. Sorry, it should be a close this square bracket. So now format the document. Now it's formatted. Now it's perfectly all right. Now it's saying that it's an array. I mean, iteratable things like you can go record 1, record 2, record 3, record 4. It's an array. Now let's go and validate it again. I'm going to copy this one and go to the Google Chrome validator, and I'm going to clear my previous history, and I'm going to delete this one and paste it here and process it. So it's validating. It's saying it's a valid JSON array, and it has 3 records inside. Okay, now this is actually enough for your XML exam. But in addition, if you want, I'm going to tell you that in addition to this is more than enough for you to do that. But since your XML is covering something called data row and then a data header, this will be a different thing. Data header and data row. Here, these are three objects that we converted already, but this is under data row. So you have to call it here, the arrays here. This will be covered like a data row. Data row. Okay. Now the JSON is not complete now because it should start either with the array or it should start with this one. But since I add the data row tag, I'm saying that there's one field called data row, and inside that it's an array, multiple records in the data row, right? So now my JSON has to start like this with the open curly bracket and ending curly bracket. This is the next step that we have to do. Sorry, not refactor, format coding. So what it's saying now, just go and copy it again, go to the JSON format validator, and then just make sure that whether it's really valid JSON. Oh, no, it's valid JSON. So in this case, we have something called data row, and under the data row, there are multiple values of data. 3 data values under data row. So it seems to be nice, right? I mean, the way it's perfectly all right. Now, so now we included all the data rows. The data rows are covered in JSON, already covered. Now, what is missing now? Data header row is missing. Data header row, now you have to remember that this data header row is not repeating anymore. So it's just a single object. So here, I'm going to put that data header row, data header row, column, is a single object, and comma here. So what I'm doing now, first I create it with one row, and I create the second row and third row. This, all of them are repeated things, so it's definitely an array. I wrap it with the array mark, and this all array, I call it as a data row. Everywhere data row is repeating, so I'm calling data row key will have this number of values, and now data header row key will have this number of value, like for example header 1, and that will have a value called process. Okay, now comma, and you will say header 2, header 3, header 4, header 5, header 6. So it's identifying here the keys are duplicated, that's why. 6. So don't put it like this, header 1, header 2, header 3. You put the value here. 1 goes 1, goes 2, for example. I already called this duration, and this one is a start date and total fee and discount and whatever the thing here. Now this is another because now actually you have to include all of them, all the information. So you have to tell that this is the data row, this is the data row, under the data row I have a many data. This is perfectly. Now I'm saying there is a data header row, under the data header row there is a keys and values. So this is a valid JSON again, because we have to complete. Control C, and I'm coming to this one, and I'm clearing this, deleting it, and paste it, and process it. So it's valid again. Now it's very simple. The tree view is organizing everything for you, right? It's very clear. You have one data header row. Anyhow, I click it. It's only one because it's not showing like array here. It's showing the square bracket. That means it's array. Here it's not array. So the data row is not array. And I have this header 1 until header 6, and these are the values. Now data row is array. I'm clicking this, as I told you, the same thing. Now come back. For you initially, if you want to convert, you can convert it as well. But when we convert it, what is the result that we got? I erase it, right? Okay. Now finally, but you have to say that the course data, but yeah, finally you have to plug with the course data, but I don't know whether that is correct or not. Course data has this video. I'm not sure about this, but I'm trying. Okay. I'm just making sure that is right. I think it seems to be right. So the initially, let me anyhow before I tell you something, I'm going to copy it and going to validate it first, because if I tell you something wrong, it's not nice. If I don't know, I will tell you I don't know. So don't worry about it. I'm processing it perfectly. All right, it's validated. Right. Let's see. Just do an explanation. My JSON is single object. Under that, there is course data. When I go course data, under the course data, I have a data header row and I have a data row. If we go inside the data header row, the data headers are there. When you go under the data row, it's an array and the details are there. This is how you have to write. Just simply come from here down or up. It's up to you. We can actually you can come from up. That's the easiest way. Always you have to remember that the JSONs always start with this way. Always start with this one. Now let's say in your XML you have only this data only. Let's say I'm going to erase this. Right, this is your XML now. So if you want to create the JSON for this, is very easy XML, right? If you want to create a JSON for that, this is enough. If I create a JSON like this, that's this question mark. I'm going to create, yeah. This is right. Nobody can say it's wrong, but it's much better to tell the header row as well. The header row, because you never mention here the header row, so it's much better to tell the header row. What I'm saying, how I'm going to tell that, I'm going to say, so you know that the JSON always leave this area, just come to that. JSON always start with this and ending with this one. Now inside that, I have a header row. So this is my header row, and the value of that is this. I'm going to format this document. So this is a valid JSON. This is the perfect JSON actually. If you give them from here to here, that's also right, but it's much better. So here in this case, the JSON, they know that very clearly that it has a header row called data row. It's very clear. That's why we made it the other JSON also the similar way. Like course data, that was they call this. Right? Course data is the main one, and the other one under the course data you have a data header and the data row. Under the data row you have a many data. Okay, right. I think it's clear for you, these two. Okay, if you have some issues, just let me know immediately. Where is the yeah? Can you try the XML table TD first child? Yeah, I try that actually. A table TD first child. Okay, anyhow, first child and first child, GR first child and the TD last child. Anyhow, just try that. It's okay. It might work. Okay, let's go back to the rest of the things. It's taking a lot of time. Here, how to do this one. Many people actually they send me a message that how to make a hyperlink. They are not asking about hyperlink here, right? It's not hyperlink at all. Just a format to represent you. I don't feel that it's a hyperlink. If anyone feel that, I tried and I searched in the internet everywhere. I cannot find anything to make hyperlink in the in XML, because you cannot. I don't know. I cannot say you cannot do that. Everything is possible, but I did not find any solution for this one. So let's do it quickly. I'm going to do the question 2. Question 2.xml 932. Ooh. So always you have to remember that you have to include the XML version, and you know that you should be start with the initial the main tag here XML. I'm calling. I'm going to call tutorials. Under the tutorial, I have 2 lines here. This is what I was telling them last time also. There might be 2 lines. Sometimes they will give you 1 line, but here's a 2 line. One is let's say tutorial. Tutorial. That is tutorials. The first one is a tutorials. Under that, I will have 2 tutorial. And then let's say header 1, and link one. So header one is like XML tutorial and http://www.ebc.com, and this one here paste it HTML tutorial. It's HTML tutorial. Okay, so now I'm going to browse this file. Okay, so the XML is fine. Okay, now what we have to do now, we have to apply style for this. I'm going to go a bit fast. Okay, I think it's not something is new for you because you already know that how to do this all and everything. I'm going to create a CSS file called q2.css, not capital, q2.css file. So I'm going to create the q2.css as well, q2.css file, and then okay, so let's go back to this file and then refresh it. So the data is broken already, right? Okay, so we need the XML side by side, then only it's much easier to write. Okay, now first thing is that they ask us to put background a green color. As I told them last time, this is treated as a body in HTML, equivalent to the body, so the main text. I'm going to put a style for the main text. I'm going to say that background color is equal to yellow green. So let's go back to our file and then refresh that. So background is yellow green now, and then the XML tutorial font will be bigger. So I'm going to say header one, that the same thing. Header one is font size is equal to 30 pixel, and let's say if you feel that there is a bold, what do you want to use?
Mama took the phone. I didn't even
Okay. Now these two are bigger font and this is smaller, and then go to the link area, which looks like the link area should be italic, and if you feel that is a bit bigger font style is equal to italic, and then font size equal to maybe 18 pixel. Right, so it's italic and 18 pixels. Now what you have to do now, you have to bring them you have to break them to the next line, right? So very simply you can tell them that the header one and the link one will be using display like a block. So I'm going to say header one, or you can apply here display block. Now also I'm going to say display block. Just come back to this place and refresh that. It's displayed into a block. Anyhow, the font size, you just take out the font size, okay? And there are margins on the top and the left, so you just apply the margin. Margin, or we can say padding for the entire body. I'm going to say padding 10 pixels for the entire body. So that's it. It's done already. And if there is any additional space like italic, I think we don't need bold font actually here, right? It's normal. Anyhow, just see that, just do the styling, but here they ask you to make your own XML file. So if you do it in this way only, you can complete this. I mean, you should have a mother XML tag here, and that will be acting like a body. So then only you can apply color on that. Under that, you will have two tutorials, 1 and 2. So you just apply the CSS according to the requirements. So it will be fine. I don't know whether you can make a HTML. I have no idea about that, how to do a hyperlink by using this. I did not try it. So at least the look is there ready. In case if they ask you to put a border and everything, you know that, right? Just try to put a border here, colors, background color. Let's say if they ask you to put a background color only for this HTML tutorial, you can, for the header, you can say background color is equal to red, right? So it's colored red. And if you want to adjust the size, just explore it. And if you want everything to be centered, so here you can say text align is equal to center, so everything will move to center. And if you want space after this, let's say they want you to put some space after this one, so after link one, right, that's the link, this is the header and this is the link. So after the link, I'm going to say a margin only bottom is equal to 50 pixel. I'm going to give a margin 50 pixels, so it's giving some spaces. You just do play around with this. Yes. Okay, so we will go back to the question again because it's too late already. Now, check if the XML document is well formed, and if it is not changed, they're asking us, is there any problem with the XML form, and fix it. And then later on, they say, take this XML and see it in the tree view and display there the tree view. You can use any XML viewer. Take a screenshot of the tree view. This is what I say to you in the first question. So, okay, so this is the question. I'm going to copy the entire XML. It's coming in the second page as well. Copy this, and question 3.xml, right? To close this, I'm going to paste. Is it a small font? You cannot see that. I forget to change the font size, by the way. I'm so sorry. Nobody tell me as well. Text editor and font, it's 14 size. I'm going to make it 18. It's too late already, but nobody tell me. How do I know that? Okay, right, great. I change it. Now, first thing, that better to format the document, format it, so it's easy to understand. And here, they give you XML version, by the way, 1.0, but they did not give you the text type to UTF, right? In this case, what you have to do simply, just we will insert a complete new line, but it's not coming because already it's presented here, the incomplete. So just erase that and type this and XML declaration. So now, before it's until here, you can see it here. It's until version XML and then version 1.0 only, but the UTF encoding methods are not displayed there. So we just include it in case if we don't know. Okay, let's say it was like this, right? It was like this. Now, if you want, you can also do that one. Encoding is equal to, it's automatically counts. Or if you don't want, just erase this line and put a question mark here and XML declaration. That's it. You got it. Okay. Now the second thing, that it applied a CSS emp.css file. If you now the emp.css file is not there, we did not create it, or they did not give it to us, right? I told you last time, even if you enter the wrong file name, or even the file is not existing in your folder, the tree view of you cannot see the tree view of XML. We will see that. We'll keep it as it is now. Now there is an issue here. See, it's the good thing with that XML extension that I told you, this one, it will help you a lot. Automatically, you can identify very easily where is the mistake. It will be highlighting like in Microsoft Word, grammatical mistakes. So always the attribute of the XML tag, the data should be wrapped with double quote. So now you fix it already. Now it's identifying the second mistake. The first is a country. It's oh, right. It's a big mess, by the way. You see, there's something called country, and there is another something called country here, and this is opening tag, and this is a closing tag, but this is another country here, and this is the C here. The C is simple and C is capital. Actually, this should be belongs to this. I'm going to erase this area. So now I erase it. I erase it and then bring it to country code. Now area width started but it's not ended. There's no closing tag here. So either I can copy it from here, or if you want, you can do it. So I'm going to copy this simply, copy it and paste it here. So the area is done. The country is wrong. The opening and closing. Okay. The area with this here actually, it's closed in this area, but with a capital. It's case sensitive XML. Okay. So capital area width and the simple area width will not match at all. So I'm going to erase this. I don't need that anymore. So that first country is perfectly all right. Now second country is also perfectly all right because there's no other problems here. Area with if the opening and closing is much easier. Now if there is error marks, usually the error marks will display you immediately. You can spot it immediately here. Now the code, this country, this block, this is the attribute called code, and I told you all the attributes should be a text 2003. Okay, 2003. And the postal code is hanging here. You cannot have a spaces here. Either you can put underscore in this area, or you can just say postal code, and then again the value of the attribute has to be in between double quoted lines. So that's fine. Again, they use the country here. I don't know why they make many countries. So I'm going to erase this country here and press space. So this is done, and there are something issue with the globe. So this globe should end with the globe. See the document type. Doc type is globe. I do not know what is this actually. Doc type. So I'm going to comment this line. You will see. I'm going to comment it. I'm not going to erase it from this. I'm going to comment it. Now the globe, you know that this is the main tag, so it has to be ended. So I'm going to ending this tab. Oh, okay. So now after I fix this one, country, it's one opening, and then there's no closing for this country. So I'm going to copy it from here and paste it. So it doesn't display any more error messages. I'm going to format this document. It's formatted now. So make sure that I don't know actually what is this. Document.globe. So let's keep it as it is. Now very simple, country starting and ending. When you double click that, when you highlight them, starting and ending positions are highlighted already. There will be no another countries here in between, and you know that this is the attribute of this tag, and the value has to be in between double quoted mark, name by area. So far it's perfectly all right. There's no any other mistakes. So I'm going to format this document now. Now, what is the other thing that we have to see here? The thing here, I told you, even though, let's say you implement this CSS line here to apply a CSS. Actually, if you apply a CSS, you know that you cannot see the tree view of the XML. So actually, it's wrong. So you have to remove the CSS line here in order to see the tree view. So okay, anyhow, we will see it first, then we will identify what's the mistake. So reveal file explorer, I'm going to double click this one. It's opened here, and you see there's no more tree view here, but they told you very clearly, run the XML view, run in an XML viewer and display the tree view. You can use any XML viewer. Take a screenshot. They want you to display the tree view. You cannot display the tree view. Or if you want, just copy it and we will see whether the tree view can display something. So XML tree viewer. So I'm going to choose the first one, then select this and delete it and paste it and tree view. Okay, great. So in this area here, it's showing you tree view properly, but I don't know if you want to use this one, use it, keep it. But if we keep it here, if we see it in the browser in a raw view, normally if you see it something like this, here, this is the one, right? You cannot see the tree view here. So if you feel that you want to see it also tree view in a browser, remove this line. So I'm going to remove this line, or if you want to keep it, it's up to you. I cannot say that to remove, because last time also they complained that one person had a cookie class and he told something wrong and then everybody did the same mistake. So I don't want to do that mistake again. So just It's up to you again, huh? So just do the tree view. Just simply, as I told you, do not display everything. Just fold it. Okay. If it's coming under one view, something like this, perfectly all right. Or if you want to expand for one view, just take a print screen and save it. Okay. All right. Right. So now I'll go back to the third question here, tree view, and do the things. That's only the thing, right? Is not change it to proper alignment and fix the problem in the XML and make a tree view and take a print screen. The final part is convert the following XML code in schema. You may use any text editor, save schema and text file. Actually, this one I cannot memorize all this work, but I do this shortcut work. I don't know if you like, you follow it. If you don't want, it's up to you. So I'm going to put what do you call that? It's not a question 3. It's okay. So I'm going to create abc.xml. Actually, they did not ask you. They did not ask you to save this file, but I'm going to save this file as well. So you have to understand what question says. Convert the following XML code into XML schema. You may use any text editor. Okay. And save the schema as a text file with the file name schema.doc. And so they want you to save the schema only, like a schema.doc, nothing else. So what I do, I usually simply I copy this file and save it here and format the document. Right. So we know that what is schema, right? Can anyone tell me what is a schema and what is the use of that? If you know. Okay. Anyhow, I know that you will not answer. The schema is that's the one controlling the structure of the XML. For example, if we say the title is a string, it will allow you the string entry. If you say the date, I don't know, maybe the date or the year of born, something like this. So you know that should be integer, right? It cannot be a float or decimal. It can be decimal, but you cannot say, if you ask them what is your date of birth, you can say 2002.0. That's not nice. So that should be integer. In this case, if you write something other than integer, it will forbid you to create the XML file. And also here, you see the cost, they enter it here, which is decimal, but they use a currency mark here, the USD, and currency mark here, INDR. So this is work of schema. The schema will control the way that the data, you know, it will force you not to enter the wrong data, and it's also saying the attributes of everything. So for me, I don't like to memorize the things here. So what I did simply, there's one option here. If you hover the mouse on this, catalog XML. So quick fix, and I'm going to create a schema. By the way, there is DTD and there is XSD as well, so you know that, right? But when you talk about schema, it should be a DTD. Sorry, it should be the XSD, not DTD. I want to show you some differences here. No. Maybe I deleted it already. Okay, anyhow, I don't have it here. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one. So there is DTD and there is XSD. The DTD stands for the document type definition. The XSD stands for XML schema definition. So actually they are looking for a schema, XML schema definition, not the DTD. So if you try to, anyhow, DTD is very complex. And also you should remember something. DTDs are written in XML, so it's much easier to write XSD than the DTD, okay? And also XSD has more control on XML than the DTD. The DTD, you will just simply tell the text name, like how do you call this? doesn't support derived from GML. I cannot say. Actually, see, the DTD provides less control on XML structure. XSD provides more control in the structure. In addition to that, XSD supports data types for the elements and attributes. For the elements and attributes, it will specify the data types, either it's integer, string, or something. So you should remember that. So the XSD has more control. In case if you have MCQ questions, you have to remember that XSD has more control than the DTD. Okay, and also XSD is way easier to type it than the DTD. Okay, so now we come to this one. So small understanding here. We have a book catalog, and then it has two books. So when you say schema, let's say you have employee table and there are thousands of employees. You are not going to create 1,000 tables, right? You are going to create a one table. You are going to say employee ID and name and address, for example. So one time you are going to decide it. So even though you have 100 books or 1,000 books or one book, the schema will be generated for a one set only for the book, only for one book. I mean, that's a schema. Schema, you are making it for the text names like title, author, date, ISB, publish, and then cost. So you are not going to repeat it again. It will be only one thing. Either it's auto generated or you're going to write it manually. It will be the same. So I'm going to go to the quick fix here. I'm going to use ABCD, XSD, and bind with the XML model, because this is creating a schema and binding the model to this XML. You don't need to worry about that because they did not ask you to save the XML file. So I'm going to click that. That's it. The schema is already created. Where is it? It will be the same name like abc.xml, abc.xsd. Go to this and your schema is ready. So this is your schema. Element name is book catalog and books. Max occurs unbounded. Let's say if you don't know something, and better to erase it if there no longer shows errors. So I erase it if there's no errors. Okay. Now minimum occurs, I don't. So now what you have to do here, what you have to take here, the main thing is this: the data type. This is the data type. This is the element. Name of the element is title, name of the element is author and date and everything. Now when auto-generated schema is saved on your PC, what will happen? This auto-generated schema will always represent every type of data to string, because in XML there is from the XML. I mean, from the XML you cannot decide whether it's a digit or number or date or true or false or integer, right? So it's just treating everything as an integer. But for you, as a person who is creating the schema, you knows it very well, right? I'm going to write my date, I mean the year of born. Here the value, look at the value. The value is just 2006 and 1948. That's a year of a born, or the book name may be the published date or something. So that is definitely, according to my knowledge, it should be integer. So I'm going to change it to integer. That is very important. And the cost, again, they are saying that the base is a string because where is this? Yeah, okay. The cost should be S1. It should be a decimal or a double. So I'm going to change it to decimal, but here it's a bit decimal. So these are the main things that they are going to see, that whether you are changing. This is according to me, according to my knowledge. They are going to check the data type, whether you are presenting whether you are thinking and writing a data type in a proper way. Other than that, everything will be the same. And these things actually, when you want to write it manually, these things you cannot change it at all. This has to be the same XML version. Anyhow, this is very simple. Everyone can do that. The schema binding, it has to be the same. But if you ask me why and what is the function of this, I'm very sorry, I don't know that. And it's very simple actually. Always all the schema starts with XS. Okay. The element name is book catalog. This is the first. I can bring it to the side-by-side view. Right. The book catalog, that is the first thing. And then they use something like complex type and sequence, and then complex type and then sequence, and then complex type. But here, simple content. I don't want to memorize this as well. For you, it's up to you if you want to follow that, follow this one. But if you use this one, just a matter of a minute, a matter of a second actually, it will be completed. So take this file and save it according to the conditions, the questions. They told you to save it in the doc file, schema.doc file. And if they do not ask you to save the XML file, better to delete it, because they will know that later on your hunky punky way that how to create a scheme. So, and also this file, just copy it and paste it as a document file, and then delete this XSD file, because they ask you to save it as a document file, because they know that if they ask you to write the XSD file, you will create this XML and just quickly convert it to the XSD file. So that's why they ask you to write a document file, and they instruct you to use the text editor, right? Save the schema in the text file and convert the following XML code. You may use any text editor. So they're telling you to use the text editor instead of converting automatically. So, and if you ask someone to teach this one, I don't think so. It's really much useful for you, because nowadays the technologies is there, the things that you can do it faster, and nobody is expecting you to type everything. That's why the frameworks are helping you. That this is a framework that we use now. It's a tool. It's a extension that helping you to generate the schema file from the XML. So why should I memorize much about, at least you know where to change, right? You know that, right? The date type feeling that should be integer, because data published, it cannot be a string, it cannot be decimal, it cannot be a true or false boolean. So it should be integer. I'm changing it to integer, and then the currency here, I'm saying that should be decimal type. And that's it. It's perfect. And then if that is the case that they don't like auto generated, maybe let it go. How much? 10 marks. In my question paper, they mentioned the marks here. Actually, I counted the first highest marks, and something like 30. I cannot show you the exact papers. I did not know. Maybe in the download folder. Uh, I don't know. So many papers here. I don't clean my downloaded folder. Laptop thing. Yeah. So just and also not only for the marks, right? You just see that which one is easier for you. Do that first, and don't spend much time, and just do it, because for me, when I do this one, I just did it with one data and one row, and I just copy and paste it. Why I did that? Because when they give you marks, they don't give you for your data. They give you more marks for your structure and CSS, and how does it display here, right? And maybe they will deduct some marks, but not like uh, they will not importance the data much. If you, let's say, instead of 8 lines, you put only 5 lines, maybe they will deduct 1 or 2 points from you. But if you forget to do the header at all, or if you forget to do the styling on the back, you will get deducted more points than 1 or 2. So just think about it, just fill it, and once you come back. And also suggestion, I don't know, it's up to you. If you finish your exam, don't just leave it and go, just stay, and then just refresh. I mean, just go back and see what are the mistakes that you did. Is everything is okay? See, like last time we did everything, and one person told me that this diploma is smaller than other diploma. It's true. So once you finish everything, just search it. If you can do it, do it. No need to spend the time for nothing. I mean, spend the time means no need to submit it and then, okay, ma'am, I finished it already, can I leave now, and then leaving it. I don't think so. It's useful. And one more questions last time, if you want. 346. This one. What is this? All of them are the same. Yeah. There's something called null.
Excuse me, brother.
Okay, we can't. Yeah. See this one. Maybe if you want, just I'll also do this one as a very simple thing, or I'll show you the way I did, so we don't need to spend time on that. Wait, I'll open my project here. But yeah, this is actually this is my project that I did last time for the exam. So to bring that view, I created my XML into this way. Which one? This one. So actually, it's a time. They are saying to save the file as a doc. Yes, they're asking you to save the file as a doc file. So what we can do, just create one file called doc. See here, I have a document file, doc file, and the data is inside, but I cannot see it in the viewer here. Just copy the XML schema and paste it here and save it. It's a document file, by the way. See, I'm going to reveal in the File Explorer, and this is my document file. It's a Word document file. I just double click that, and then oh, nothing is there. I don't know. Maybe I deleted it or. Uh, this is my question, by the way. What kind? The way. This is my answer to the exam. This is how I did the tree view of mine. I just take a print screen of that and display it. And this is my first XML that I completed it. See, this is what I told you. The empty line, I inserted it by the, here I show you. It's much easier for you to show it here. The first XML, so I created like this. In the last record, see, a lot of records actually, you just spend the time to type the data, but what to do, since it's the exam, I did it. And this is what I did for the product name. I just put one empty, which is I use it like alter plus 255, and that gives me empty line, and then that's it. So it's created a page. This is what exactly they gave it to us in the exam paper. I did it almost the same view. I hope that I'll get complete marks. And this is my JSON. I have a product collection under that product, but I did a big mistake now. Yeah, see, I did a mistake here. This one I did not include it. Oh, sad. Product header. I did not do the product header because I did this part later. So when I convert my JSON, I forget to include the product header. Now I realize it, but it's too late already. Okay, anyhow, so I use the product collection and then product, but the product header I included it later. Okay, now I know I lost some marks. Okay.
அண்ணா நீ மேல
Yeah, so
எதாவது
we
போடலையா
can do this XML, right? So I was telling you, yeah. So
அண்ணா
question two as well.
ஹலோ
I think his speaker is muted. He can't hear us.
This didn't appear, you know, 2000, what is this? This is fixing issues. And question 3, okay, that's for the schema. And question 4 is the time. This is what they gave it to us to do it something like this. So in the question, this question, the colors are almost the same, and this is my answer. This is a question and this is my answer. So how to do this? It's very simple. I'm just going to create one XML file. Very simple. I call it my time, in case if we want to put a background color, but they did not ask me to put something like this. And I created one for hour and one for minute, one tag for hour, one tag for minute, one tag for colon, one tag for second, and one tag for, I don't know, AMP. I call it AMPM. I do not know, like minute or something like this. So just created it because what they need to apply the CSS. So I apply this CSS here. This is my CSS for this XML. This is my XML and this is my CSS. So what I did now, my time, I have a font size 30 pixel and font weight is equal to bold. So everything will be, right? It will be bigger font than the standard small font for the body. And for the hour, I just change the color to blue. For the minute, I change it to white. The second, I change it to gray. I did not format the document actually. And the colon, I change it to gray as well. The colon, here there is a colon, but in the between hours and minutes there is no colon. So I change it to gray. And then AMPM, I change the font size to 20 pixel and I just put important. If you want to know what is important, I can tell you. Because I changed the entire content of this XML to 30 pixel. Now when I say to apply only for this AMPM tag, I change it to 20 pixel. If I say important, this will override all the options that I give it for the fonts. So that's why I said important here. It's overwriting only for this. It will discard all other font size. It will apply this. And that's it. Just run it. And don't forget to include this line. If you make a time CSS and time XML file without specifying the style sheet and without connecting the style sheet, it cannot be applied to. It cannot display the value. For XML, can't be used internal or inline CSS. This is external one actually, but for the internal, that means if it is internal CSS, you have to use it inside the XML, but I have no idea about that. For inline, you cannot use that, I think. But for the internal, I have no idea, because inside, if you specify anything here, that will be counted as attributes. So you cannot do that. But for the internal styling, no idea. That's why to style, I think there will be no options here. That's why we are using CSS outside. Otherwise, they will be including a CSS. So, and also make sure that the XML, the purpose of the XML is to transfer your data to XML and to transfer to somewhere else. That is the main purpose of XML file. XML and JSON, both of them are actually designed for the transferring purposes. It's a you have a server that's giving you data. That data should be transferred to your program in the client in your PC. So if you bring the data as a table or database, it will be big sizes. So just convert the data into a plain text JSON format and bring it here. Or you convert your data to the XML and bring it to the client machine. That will be way easier. And by the way, JSON is way comfortable than the XML file. And it's lightweight as well. Let's say the same data, if you take it as XML, let's say if it is a 10 kilobyte file, and if we make it as a JSON, maybe it will be like 6-7 kilobyte. It depends on the data, by the way, but always the JSON is lower than the XML file, because XML file always including, see, the open tag and close tag. But JSON is different, right? The JSON is only having a property name and the value. There is no closing property name, right? When you say key value comes only once time. It doesn't repeat one more time. And also it's very close to the JavaScript, and most of the program they can directly use this file since it's in the format which is closer to the JavaScript object. Actually, JSON is the JavaScript object notations, so it's that's why the JSONs are very popular. And in addition to that, additional thing, not for this exam, a JSON file, when we are transporting, for example, from the web services to this one, it's transferred in a plain text. So it's really you should think about how to encrypt the data and transfer it. If it is HTTP, it's really bad, because if you use HTTPS, it's using some encryptions and sending the data. If you use HTTP, it's not encrypting at all, so it will be very bad for you. Just additional information for you to keep it in my mind. Keep it in the mind. So I think it's okay. And only one thing that in the CSS we fail to do some parts like int and everything actually. You just search for it, you will find it. Other than that, it's okay. I think it's done. 10:20. And you see, if they ask you to do some catalogs with this dot line, when you copy this, you will have a problem with that. Okay. So when you copy this one, just copy it with this and just delete this dot lines before you convert it to what do you call that, the XML schema. Don't convert it. It will be error actually if I do copy here, then go to XML, Control N, Control V, and format the document. Really, it's not showing any errors here. Okay. But what I did now, when I converted the XST file, I just deleted it. I reformat the documents and I just convert it to XST file. Okay, anything else? Is there a declaration for JSON? Declaration means I don't get you, Sumaya. Yeah, it's almost done now. So the people who is okay with it, just you can leave. If you have questions, you can ask. Open declaration like XML. No. Just it's just a plain text file. Nothing is there. Nothing. You don't need to do anything else. Just simply this is a perfect JSON, by the way. Nothing, because JSON is a text file. Just a simple recording in the source code. Okay, the source code, brother. I just overwrite. I just mess up my code, and if you want, I can give you. Okay, maybe I mess it up. I can give my files. Uh, I need the schema. Yeah, you want to know how to make a schema. For example, you see I have a first XML, right? I don't have any schema here. If you want to make a schema, simply just hover the mouse on your first XML tag and quick fix, and then say first XSD and bind with the XML model, and your schema is ready here. That's it. And you just go to the data type of the schema file, and then according to your need, change the schema. For example, I'm going to say my price, I don't want it to be in string. I'm going to say double or decimal. And if we say my size, I want it to be an integer, and save it. That's it. What else? By the way, this is all what I know. Okay, there could be some errors, or maybe some mistakes, or maybe some ways I'm achieving the result. Maybe it could be not the standard way, or so always you think, and before you feel that, for example, the way I inserted a space here, this is what struck to my mind at that time, so I just put it like this. Maybe if we have a different way, try to approach that, because you know what you are doing, right? If they ask me, I will tell them that I don't get any way, but I just use this way and I bring the result. In the end, at the end, actually, the result is very important. If you can design something like this, it's okay. Perfect. It's not wrong. But there could be a better way than this. So you search and find it. Your ways. Let me stop the